This week on the Digital Marketing Scoop, we're talking about Google Shopping and how it can increase your e-commerce sales. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop. So this week we're going to be chatting about Google Shopping. I'm sure some of you probably know what Google Shopping is and some of you don't. So I suppose just for a bit of background, basically, the way I always say to see Google Shopping in action is to open up Google, type in a product you like, and chances are you're going to see a row of images across the top of the page. And that's Google Shopping. It's the way Google allows you to submit your products for use in the Google Ads platform. And Google Shopping is basically within Google Ads. So the big thing with Google Shopping is, especially if you have a big e-commerce site, is that it allows you to take an entire feed of all your products. So you could have, if you have a big e-commerce site, you could have literally thousands and thousands of products. And to go off and start creating individual Google Ads campaigns for each of those products can be, that could be exhausting. A lot of work. And what Google Shopping allows you to do is, especially if you're using a platform, say like Shopify or WooCommerce, they integrate quite easily with Google Shopping. And basically means if somebody searches for your product, it's going to come up at the top of that row of images at the top.
And it's great because you can see the image, you can see a small description and the price, so you have way more information before you even click. So people are further down the sales funnel
100%.
When they do click. So you're not wasting your money, so you're actually saving money by doing Google Ads campaign or Google Shopping campaigns, because they won't click until they're this is the type of product that I want.
Their searches are specifically about that product. And that is one thing we definitely see here in terms of e-commerce. The return on ad spend from Google Shopping it can be extraordinarily high, which is exactly what you want from your digital advertising.
Exactly.
So I suppose to take a step back, How do you get set up with Google Shopping? Well, there's a couple of prerequisites. You must have an e-commerce site and be selling and shipping your products online. So if you're selling, a service, or you're, a lot of kind of maybe B2B companies don't like putting up pricing and stuff like that. You can't use Google Shopping for that. It's purely e-commerce platform comparing the different products. So you have to tick those boxes first. The other thing you'll need is what's called a Google Merchant Center account. This is free to set up. This is basically where you kind of connect your website to Google. Is probably the easiest way to describe it. And that's obviously, this is then once you have your feed of products in Merchant Center, you can then connect that to your Google Ads account and build out your Google Shopping campaigns from there.
And then once you're set up, there's so many benefits. One that I particularly love is you have a broader presence on the search page. So you can have your Google Shopping ad and you can have your search ad, and they could both pop up at the same time. So then you
get lots of real estate.
Exactly. So that's a really, really handy one. And then they might be more inclined because they've noticed your name twice, so they're like,
more eyes in the brand.
Exactly. And then, as we were saying, getting more qualified traffic to your website. So they've already seen the image and they've seen the price. So if they click, they're more likely to want that product because
the intent is there.
Exactly. And another benefit as well is that it's really like retail centric. So it's not based on keywords. Google Shopping uses the product attributes of the products from your Google Merchant Center, and then it pops up. So say like blue dress. So then you'll see all these blue dresses, and they'll so it's a brilliant way to display your product that way as well.
And that's why the feed you have going into Merchant Center, making sure that's set up correctly, is so important. As I say, if you're using platforms like Shopify and WooCommerce, that can be great. We're doing one with a client at the moment, and the custom content management system, it does prove quite difficult. But definitely if you're on one of the the open source platforms or something like Shopify, or BigCommerce or any of those, they kind of all have integration with Google Merchant Center.
Yeah, exactly.
So it can make setting up your Google Shopping campaign much, much easier.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
So I suppose kind of to surmise, basically, with regards to setting up Google Shopping, you know, go to Google, search for Google Merchant Center, and get a free account there. Depending then on your website, there'll be instructions there kind of on how to set up your feed. So as I say, if it's Shopify, WooCommerce, pretty easy. If it's something custom, best of luck to you, buddy.
Contact us and we can help
you. And obviously, again, it depends on the the great thing, I suppose, about the open source platforms and things like Shopify is you change your prices, you change your stock, all this, it all automatically updates in the feed.
Yeah, it's
so
brilliant.
if you update a feed manually and then you change things on your website, obviously that doesn't update.
Exactly.
So it is, especially when you're dealing with, you know, thousands and thousands of products. You have to have automation. So get your feed set up into your Google Merchant Center account. Then you're going to link your Merchant Center account to your Google Ads account, and then you can build your Google Shopping campaigns from there within your Google Ads account.
Yep.
As I say, not for everyone. You have to be e-commerce.
Yes.
And it's very, very worthwhile testing out if you're on if you do have an e-commerce site. Really, I would say almost no matter what product you're selling, because if people are searching for it, this is a way for you to be right in front of them.
Exactly. Like fish bowls or drills or like anything. It doesn't have to just be like, you know, the typical, you think, clothes and all of those kind of things. You think, they go into Google Shopping. But it could be anything. Yeah,
100%. I mean, we've, you know, clients with everything from trampolines to vinyl records to, it's just, you know, absolutely anything. And I think, like, one of the big proponents of it, like, was Amazon. I can't remember if they're still doing it, but I mean, you're talking literally millions and millions and millions of products.
Yeah.
But they certainly used to use it. I'm not sure if they still do. But it's very, very worthwhile platform for you to test out for your e-commerce website. Thanks for listening. That's been this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop.